Hello there, my name is Bonventure and this is Moving Pictures Kenya. Today I'm coming to you from Lancaster in Pennsylvania. Lancaster is known for a community known as the Amish. This is a community of Americans that live the most traditional life. But today I'm not here to tell you about the Amish. I'm here to have a conversation with a Kenyan who is helping African immigrants to own a piece of America. His name is Musa Mmugambi. It's worth noting that while in Kenya, he was a B.O.G teacher, not a TSC teacher, a B.O.G teacher.
This is the IS1 2021, Century 21, gave me an Outstanding Achievement Award.
So, if you are in Kenya and you are a B.O.G teacher, do not lose hope. There is light at the end of the tunnel. Mr. Mmugambi now is helping African immigrants to own a piece of America. I started by asking him to tell us a bit of his background.
I was born in Kenya, of course, in a small ward or small location known as Karama location. That is in Meru district, now known as Meru County. And I actually schooled my primary and my secondary level in the same location. So I really, in my childhood, I never really traveled anywhere other than my local home area. So I went to university. The only time I went outside of my locality is actually when I went to Kenyatta University for my degree in science and majored in double chemistry.
Yeah, I think you are lucky that time because, you know, in Kenya nowadays universities are all over. So you find somebody going to school in the village, primary school in the village, high school in the village, then university in the village. But I think for you those days you are lucky because the universities are in Nairobi.
Yeah, there are only 4 of them.
Yeah.
I was Kenyatta, Nairobi, Egerton, and Moi.
Of late, most people who come to the US are nurses.
Yes.
So I've not heard of like teachers coming to the US. So what really motivated you to come to the US?
Actually, 74 teachers just came to Baltimore in the last 1 month.
Okay.
So teachers are still coming. But what motivated me then was that I wasn't actually a TSC employee, and the US needed teachers then. And that's how I got hired to teach chemistry in Philadelphia School District. So that time, 2002, there was a very, very high shortage of teachers. And in Kenya, there was surplus because we finished college in 1998. That same year, they freezed employment of teachers through the TSC directly. So I wasn't a TSC employee personally, but even those who are TSC employees came with us, and we came 17 teachers to teach in Philadelphia School District.
Nice. So I know this is a new country, a new environment, a new culture. You must have faced some challenges. Mm-hmm. Maybe you can tell us some of the challenges you faced.
Absolutely. The biggest challenge was cultural challenge. We schooled in Kenya, and really I had never known anybody who was in the US. I never knew anybody who was actually outside the country personally. So coming here, the cultural difference was huge, and to navigate that was very, very difficult. And it was very discouraging. You meet students who are very disrespectful. Teaching here it's not something that is really valued by the student, because they would rather just play ball and not do any chemistry or any science related subject. And so the challenge was huge. And it was like there were 2 choices: either you stay and succeed or go back to Kenya. For me, going back to Kenya was not an option because I had nothing to go back to. Yeah. I had no job there, and that's where I learned a little bit of what I learned in college about psychology. The power of the mind, the power of your brain. Once you utilize your brain properly, it really a powerful tool in solving problems. And with that, you were able to find ways to succeed and to handle students in these public schools. And I did that for 22 years because there was no other option. I couldn't go back to Kenya. I had borrowed my ticket. It was a one-way ticket. And I was kind of mortgaged my wife. I mean, not literally, but, the people that I had borrowed money from, they needed their money back as soon as possible. And I wouldn't let my wife or call my wife to come before I paid them. They would probably, think that I scammed them and left them. So I had to pay them before I even invited my wife to come here, because I left her with my son in Kenya.
Oh. I think from the way you're talking, it must have been an expensive affair to come here.
It was. So the school district sponsored the visa, but we had to pay for our own ticket, and then we had to find an apartment or somewhere to live before we actually get paid our first salary. Okay. So they were not just coming and dishing you money. No, you actually had to start work to get paid. And so that was the difficult part. So we had to find ticket and also money for our upkeep before we started working.
Coming from Kenya, it was a different school system, and then here also a different school system. Maybe you can tell us some of the differences you noticed in the education system here and the education system in Kenya.
So I had taught in Kenya for 4 years, but with the B.O.G or I don't know what that was. Yeah, board, school board. So I wasn't the TSC employee, but I was still teaching in Kenya. So yeah. Teaching here and teaching in Kenya is totally different. If you look at the education system in Kenya, it's what I would describe as an elimination system. In other words, it's like a funnel, or like a funnel where as you go up, there are less opportunities. There are less secondary schools than primary schools, and there are less universities than the secondary schools. So the system is built in a way that you eliminate people along each level, so that we only have the cream that goes to university, while the rest of them have to go to other tertiary colleges or just end their education system there. When you come to the US, it is kind of the opposite. I mean, the number of universities, even in this local area here, Lancaster alone, we have about 8 colleges. I mean, I think we have over 8 universities that I can, tertiary colleges that I can mention of, just in this area here. So anybody can go to the university. And the education system here is an enabling system where every child should succeed in education, and no wonder we have no child left behind, by George W. Bush, I think, and therefore, for a child to fail here, you have to explain why the child failed. Yeah. It's not like in Kenya where the child fails. It's because they did not, they did not work hard. Here, the teacher has to explain why the child actually failed. Okay. What interventions did you do to help them succeed at that particular level? Okay. So the system here is very enabling. The other difference here is students can specialize very early, and they can actually learn at their own speed. So if a child is very brilliant, is doing very well, they can actually they can start doing like a primary school kid or elementary school kid can start learning things about middle school. Middle school kids can learn about high school stuff. There are students who graduate from high school with 2 years of college education already done while they were in high school. Okay. And that's phenomenal. My own daughter actually joined high school this week, but she has already she has already done her math credit for graduation. Okay. She's already done with Keystone Math while in middle school, because she's very good at math. So that kind of I really love that kind of specialization, because kids can learn at their own pace and can specialize on what they want very early. In Kenya, not really. So, yeah.
So by the way, what surprised me when I came here is that the high school diploma, they call it high school diploma, is a very important certificate.
Ooh, yes, it is.
What is it about this high school? Because everybody tells you that I'm a graduate, but when you tell them, I graduated from high school. What is it about high school?
So, again, you see, in America, you don't have to be in school to succeed. Anybody can succeed, even people who have not gone to school. Yeah. So there are people even right now who are the first in their generation to actually graduate high school. So graduation here in high school is regarded highly. We invited our in-laws for actually graduation, and just as a letter from the principal in high school can get recognized in Kenya to give somebody a visa to come and attend a high school graduation. So high school graduations are huge. It's a big milestone. Not that it's hard to graduate high school. No, it's just a milestone, because from there you can leave high school and go to a career directly. You don't have to go to university. Yeah. Some high schools have specialized trainings where you graduate high school with electrical, not engineering, but being able to do electrical work, being able to do construction work, be a cosmetology. Those courses can be done in high school, and you can just leave high school and go into the world of work. And high school diploma is one of the just basic qualifications for most jobs in America.
So back to your career as a teacher, because I know when you came here in Kenya, teachers are usually transferred from one station to another. For you, did you work for one station, or you've been transferred around?
There isn't much transfer here. You can request a transfer from, education here is controlled by the school board, by the local school board. There is no TSC or B, No, the education system is generally controlled by the school board, and they determine, they hire, they fire, they control generally everything about the school. So if you're teaching in a school, like now, for example, me, I was in McCaskey, where I retired from for 15 years. There's only one high school. So if you wanted to teach in high school, you can't transfer. I couldn't, even if I wanted to, I could not transfer, because there is only one high school. Now, if you're in middle school, there are, I think, 3 middle schools. Now you can transfer from one middle school to another. But again, it is not based on, I like to be near home. There is no such a thing. It's actually seniority. There must be a vacancy there for you to transfer. There must be a vacancy for you to be able to transfer. You can't just transfer because of your own basic needs. No, it's just there must be a vacancy. If there is no vacancy, there is no job for you. Yeah.
I'm surprised when you told me about retirement, because when I look at you, you're fairly young.
Yeah.
So what is this that made you retire young, and what motivated you to go into real estate, and maybe whether there are any skills that were transferable from teaching to real estate?
Yeah, so let me just make it clear. I use the word retirement very lightly here, because I work just like any other. But now I am not answerable to a boss. I am generally a subcontractor. So I work like any other. I am not lazing outside there or going for vacations because I'm retired now. So I left teaching, so I am in the profession of real estate. But I was able to do that because I started real estate in 2017, so I was doing both with the aim, of course, of living, teaching, and doing this full time because I needed a lot of flexibility. I needed a little bit of freedom because this one I'm the one who determines when to work and and generally I can run my own schedule. So yes, there is a lot of skills that I transferred from teaching into real estate. Real estate in America is not just going and seeing a house that is on sale and just buying it. There is a lot of education that goes into purchasing of real estate. It's a very complicated process, and that's why we have to be professionals. I went to school to actually become a realtor. I just did not wake up one day and start teaching. You can't practice real estate here without a state license. Okay. You have to go to school, you have to pass exams, you have to pass the state exam and the national exam to actually get a license to practice. So there is a lot of skills that I use to help my clients really get the best deal and be able to be able to really get what they want and get it more efficiently. Yes, you can buy a house, but you can buy a house and then in the next few years you really find yourself in problems because you were not educated properly on what you required. I will give my own example. 2009 I bought my first house, and I remember the loan officer telling me that I can buy points for the loan. Now, the word points for me, the only points that I knew, other than in school, is if you have a traffic citation, you can get points. Yeah. So I knew points in a negative way, and when you buying a house, they get all your taxes. They also get to know how much money you have in your bank account. So to buy point, I straight away, and it's an option. You don't have to. And I said, no, I did not even want to understand what that means, because I am thinking this woman has seen all the money in my bank account and they want to use every cent. Yeah. So I thought, I did not, only to realize much later, now that I'm a real estate, that I actually had to stick with a very high interest rate for 5 years before I actually refinanced into a lower rate. So point system is where you actually buy lower rate upfront. It's just paying that interest rate upfront. Okay. But just by like 1% point is 1% of the loan, and at that time it was about $2,000. But within those 5 years, I probably paid more than $10,000 in interest rate, just because I did not spend $2,000, which I couldn't have, afford, and did not buy that. So I transfer a lot of that knowledge in sitting with my clients. So the first thing I do with my clients is sit down and get to understand what they want. Okay, explain some of these terms. What is closing costs? Why do they need to pay closing costs? What is the benefit of them disclosing all their assets? For us Africans, we don't want to say how much we have. Yeah. That is actually counterproductive when you are getting a loan, because the investor, want to assess their risks. So if you have a lot of assets, then they're actually willing to give you a lower interest rate because you are a more stable client. You're not a risky client. So remember, in real estate, and this is what I try to make my clients understand, who has more risks? Is it you is buying the home or the person giving you the money to buy the home?
Yeah.
The person giving you the money to buy the home has a lot of risks.
Yeah.
Because me, the home buyer, you don't have to have any collateral at all. The only collateral is that you have a good source of income and you have good credit. That's your collateral.
Okay.
All right? You don't have to bring a title deed or a car title to be able to get a loan. That person is trusting that you're going to pay them. You're going to work hard as you've been working. That's why they look at your work history. And you have good credit. You've been getting debts and paying them. Just based on that, they will assess whether they can give you money.
Okay.
But if you now show them, hey, I have this bank account here, I have a retirement account here, I have this, you become a better buyer. And now they lower your interest rate because they want to get you as their client.
Okay.
But if you don't, you're not showing all that because you're trying to think that, oh, that person is trying to get all my money. No, they are actually not. They are very, very guarded by the government. So they can't just sell you a house just because, you are showing them assets. It's good to disclose those assets. And that's what I said with my clients to explain. That, you need to disclose, you need to do this, you need to show all that. So I transfer all that teaching skills into my real estate and educate my clients so that they can get the best out there. The other thing is, we all when we're buying something, we all want to get the best deal. So I said to the client, house is costing $200,000, and you want a good deal. There you can either give an offer of $190 because you want a $10,000 discount, or you can actually ask for closing cost assist.
Yeah.
You can get that $10,000 in two ways: either lower the price to $190, or get a closing cost assist from the seller to buy that home.
Yeah.
Which one is better? Most people don't know. Yeah. So if you lower that price by $190, the seller is really giving you $10,000.
Yeah.
But it's giving you that $10,000 by lowering the price.
Yeah.
Right? Your loan, your payment is only going to be different by about $15 per month. However, if they give you that $10,000, you actually have $10,000 that you can go do a lot with it. Yeah. Right? Mm-hmm. So it's all, the seller is giving $10,000, but you can get it as closing cost assist, which leaves you $10,000 in the bank.
Yeah.
Or you can just get a price reduction, which only lowers your mortgage by about, it's not more than $50, because $1,000 is about $3.75 per month. Yeah, so I help people understand those things.
So now, from the way you're explaining it, it appears like also being a realtor is it has some challenges.
Yeah, there are. I mean, talk about challenges. There is a lot because, again, the terms used here, the requirements here are more stiffer than anywhere else because, again, remember that the investor is giving money based on just the belief that you're going to work and you're going to pay them the money. All right. So I work predominantly with, or most of my clients are immigrants, and specifically Congolese, or what we call them New Americans. Yeah. But they are actually the former refugees from Congo who are immigrating into U.S. Yeah. And by the way, Lancaster is the capital, is regarded as the capital of refugees, because we have more refugees per capita than any other place. So we have a lot of them here. Those people, most of them don't speak English.
Yeah.
Most of them really don't know the systems here, the credit system, the banking system is difficult for them, and generally there is a lot of challenges. So working with them, one is translation.
Yes.
I have, most of these documents are signed electronically. So document comes and they don't know actually they need to download the document and sign it electronically. So I have to go back and forth to their houses. I am constantly communicating with the lender. Hey, I have sent this document today. And they are not sent it the same day because it's stages. You know, every stage there are documents to sign. So one that I can actually mention that happened that was really difficult is there's this family of 4. They were mother, father, and 2 sons were all combining their income to buy a house. And they were buying a big 4-bedroom house. Again, because they had to combine their income to get the loan, because the more the income, the higher the loan you get. So I had collected all their documents, but for some reason, we did not know that the father had not acquired his green card. And the others had gotten their green card. I don't remember very well what had happened, why the father didn't have his green card, while all the rest had their green cards. So the loan is only 2 weeks to close. And we find out that we don't have the father's green card. So we ask, you know, the lender is saying there is no way the loan can be issued. We can't take him out a loan because the other 3 alone cannot qualify. His income is required. So you know, we start brainstorming with my lender, who I really value. You know, she knows how to solve problems. So we sat down. We wrote a letter to the United States Citizenship and Immigration Services, USCIS. So we drafted a letter and to ask them to send us a documentation that shows that he is in the process of getting his green card, hoping that that letter is going to be accepted by the underwriter. And I mean, at some point, he would have taken the letter by himself. We would have mailed the letter, but I just decided to actually accompany him to York to hand deliver the letter to the immigration officer in York. And I am so glad today that I actually went with him, because when he went there, the immigration officer said, you know, we don't deal with mortgages here. You know, in a funny way, just to dismiss us. I said, I understand that, officer, but we are not here to actually ask you to deal with mortgages. I'm just here accompanying him. I am the one representing him in this transaction. I am the one who deals with the mortgages. I'm not asking you to deal with the mortgages. What I'm asking you to do is to write us a letter to confirm that he has applied for his green card and his green card is in the process. And he was still under my, he said, that's not my job. I said, listen, I'm not asking for anything else, and I'm not giving you an extra job here. Do you understand? Do you understand that your word in writing, simple one, your word in writing is what is standing between this man and getting a home. So that family was actually able to close on the home. And today I just discovered 3 months ago that the son of that man has actually opened an international grocery store here in Lancaster, where we can all go and get Kenyan, you know, foodstuffs and Kenyan products and all that. I mean, it's phenomenal. It's called Safari International Grocery Store in Willow Street, here in Lancaster. I mean, that is a phenomenal thing. And probably if they don't got that home, you know, it would be probably difficult for them today to do such things. So I am really very happy about that.
For you as an immigrant, there are some new perspectives you bring to this real estate. What are some of these perspectives you bring as an immigrant?
Navigating real estate in this country is difficult, and especially for us immigrants. You know, we don't know how the system works here. We don't know the ups and downs, what things we can get, and what things we should avoid. So for me, it's educating people on what is best for them while following the law properly. And I can, I give you an example of, discount points that people don't really explain that much. So as an immigrant, I know the challenges that immigrants pass through. A person who is born here might not really understand everything that an immigrant goes through and how to meet their needs. So that's why personally I have formed a team of agents who speak different languages. Okay. I do have 5 agents together with me, 6 agents who work with me as a team. And that team, it serves 2 purposes. One is we have different languages. So we have one, Jeremy Kanegene, who is from Burundi. Oh. He speaks 3 languages. He speaks fluent Russian, he speaks French, and he speaks Kenya-Rwanda, and of course English. Yeah. So, and all these languages are needed by our refugees and of course other natives. I do have Blanca Racco, who is Spanish speaking, and also, of course, English. So when we have a Spanish client, they are very well taken care of. Then I do have Batia Muthiga from Kenya. He is based in New York. So whenever I have clients in New York, like tonight at 4 o'clock, we're actually closing a house in New York, which is my, my client. Yeah. But last night, because I wasn't available, he did the closing walkthrough for my client. Okay. From here, I'm going to be heading there. So it's not just the languages, but we also support each other, because I can't be in 2 different places at the same time. Yeah. The job of a realtor is not an office-based job. We are always out there either showing houses, meeting clients, meeting lenders, and stuff like that. So we are very mobile, and therefore requires teamwork to be able to do that. Then I have Dr. Evans Gatumu, who is, he comes from Lebanon area. So if I have a client right there, instead of me driving 50 minutes, he can meet that client very quickly, show houses there, and be able to tackle that. But every agent is free to work anywhere in the state. It's not like, you have to work in a certain area alone. And then I do have, my daughter also actually got a license this year. Mm-hmm. So we have those 5 agents. We work as a team, and we help our clients. So you have asked about the unique challenges of an immigrant. Mm-hmm. Yes, real estate here is based on the law. There is a lot of what we call the offer. When you're making an offer for a house, is actually a 14-page document that the realtor has to fill out. It's written by a lawyer. All we need is to fill out the blanks, and you need to know how to fill out the blanks properly in order that your client is taken care of properly and they don't lose money. A good example where clients might lose money is if you don't, for example, put contingencies within the contract. You might sign a contract, and along the way the client notes that there's a problem here with this house. If you did not put those contingencies in the contract, our client is going to lose their deposit. And I have met quite a number of African clients who actually lost their deposit because they used an agent, and that agent never explained those contingencies properly, because all they wanted is for the client to get a contract and for them to sail through. But if these things are explained properly, then our clients are served well, and they are able to really get what they need. So it's very, very important. The cultural background here is very, very important. We want to serve those clients in a language they can understand. For example, my Congolese immigrants, I have to use the Swahili that they know, not even the Swahili that we speak in Kenya. I like, for example, to buy a house, they say kusisa. It's not kununua, so I have to make sure that I understand their language and be able to meet their needs properly. I have to understand their unique background to be able to help them properly. When we started, some of them thought that, when they buy a house and their house breaks, they have to call somebody to come and, no, it's on them now to actually do the repairs and all that kind of stuff. And those things you have to explain them way before they actually purchase the home. So it's very, very important. That is normal for an American. They know when they buy a house, it is up to them to make the repairs. And so if you don't help this person to understand, hey, from now it's not going to be a landlord issue. You're the landlord now. And if you don't explain that from the very beginning, then they get people get frustrated at the end. So we try to explain to them. An American will not explain that, not because they want to cheat them. No, it's because it's normal for them, but it's not normal for us as immigrants. So it's my job to really explain that to our clients, and that's why we really position ourselves in a unique way to meet those needs.
And then you've talked about the team you work with. I think you're calling them agents because I think that is a professional term. But I think, in my opinion, these are people whom you have mentored. So I know when people see this interview or this video, many of them will be inspired. They want to join this field, this profession of real estate. What advice do you give to such people?
There is something for all of us. We are not competitors. I tell these are actually the TP. As you're saying, I mentor them. I mentor these agents, and we need more. I also forgot to mention, we have a loan officer by the name Faith Maora too, who is now a loan officer that works with us, and she also understands Swahili. So the bottom line is, I don't look at my agent as competitors. We complement each other. There is something for all of us. So if you want to join us, absolutely. I will take you in and mentor you, and you can come in 2 ways. You can become an independent person. You don't want to join a team. That's fine. There are challenges to that because, I said, you can't be everywhere at the same time. Our goal, in fact, we tell all our clients, my goal is to be able to show you the homes when you're available, not when I'm available. That's why I work with a team. All right. So if I am not available, I can guarantee you one of the 5 people will be available at some point to show you a house at 5 o'clock if I'm not available at 5 o'clock. So, and we have all the agents in my team, we have one another in spin dial. So when I see a call from, even now, if I see a call from one of my agents, I'm going to stop and answer it, because I know that could be a client who wants to see a house and who wants to be served, and that's what we want to do. So for those of us, coming in new, you want to join a profession, you want to open a business, my best advice is you're in the best country to do exactly that. This country gives great incentives for people who are entrepreneurs and who are business people, because they recognize that those are the people who create jobs. Okay, they recognize those are people who create jobs. And I'm never worried about getting a job in this country. And I would say this loud and clear. You know, you hear people say, oh, I can't find a job. It's not because you can't find a job. It's because you don't have the right skills for the available jobs. If you have the right skills, then there is a job for you. And there is plenty of jobs in this country because this country supports entrepreneurship. The legal tax incentives for anybody who wants to start a business is phenomenal because they know you're going to create jobs. And when you create jobs, those people pay more taxes. So they don't look at just you as a person paying the taxes, but if they can give you tax incentives, then you will employ more people that can pay more taxes. Yeah. So it's a phenomenal place to be. This country is a phenomenal place to be. They have everything that you need to succeed, and there is support to do that, to be able to succeed in whatever you want to do. What I just say very, very plainly, we come from a country where integrity has been thrown out of the window. When you come here, you must have a high level of integrity. Yeah. We know how to work hard. That we know. So I'm not worried about us as immigrants working hard. We know how to do that. But integrity part, that you have to have. You have to cultivate honesty, and really your word should be believable. You don't have to require somebody else to support you. If you say you're gonna do something, you're gonna do it. And that's really what this country expects.
Yeah. Musa, when I met you the first time, you told me that American dream means owning a piece of America.
Yes.
So I want you to expound on that, how somebody can own a piece of America.
Well, that's what I do. It's my job is to really help you own a piece of America, buying a home. I am a faith-based person, and I am not ashamed to say that. And one of the most quoted scripture in the Bible is Jeremiah 29, verse 11. That says, "For I know the plans I have for you, says the Lord," or declares the Lord, and the plan to give, to prosper you and to give you a future. And when that scripture is quoted, most people really don't know or don't read the preceding verses, or even know the background of that scripture. This is Prophet Jeremiah talking to or addressing the exiles who are in Babylon, and likening that to us as immigrants. We are not war exiles in this country, but I can say we are economic exiles, because we came to this country because we needed a better opportunity. There wasn't enough jobs in our country. There wasn't enough place to go to get good education, or education that is specialized to what you want. So most people came here either education or looking for greener pastures, looking for better jobs. So we are kind of economic exiles here. So looking at that, when Jeremiah was addressing, and I actually want to quote the Bible at this point, just want to read those other preceding verses there. Jeremiah 29, and I'm going to read verses 5 to 7, because that's where the background is. "For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans to give you hope and a future." So the preceding verses there, verses 5 says, "Build houses and settle down, plant gardens and eat what they produce. So what is the metaphor there? You know, I mean, we don't come here to plant gardens, but we come here to work. Yeah. So he is telling them, when settle down, that's settling down is buying yourself a property, you know, starting a business, okay? You can't just live in an apartment. Yeah. Your landlord is not in charity. Right? I tell my clients that your landlord is not doing charity. Yeah. They are business people. They are investing. So you are actually paying their mortgage. There are very few investors, even those that I work with, that use their own money to actually buy those apartments and houses to rent. Yeah. They just get a mortgage, and what you pay them as rent must be able to pay that mortgage and pay the taxes and do the repairs, and they still have a little bit left over. So what does it mean by settling down? You know, just settle down. You know, buy yourself a property if you can buy. Plant gardens, work hard. That's like your job, you know. Get a stable job. Get skills that can give you a stable job. Don't just rely on non-skilled labor, just working one day here, next month you're working somewhere else. Just settle down, get a skill. And it's very easy. There are some skills that you can get in a matter of months. And by the way, to become a realtor, it's 3 months you actually become a realtor. Because the two courses that you do, one takes 5 weeks, the other one takes 4 weeks. And then you have the process of now doing the exam. So in about 3 months, you get a license. Listen to this. It's verse 6 says, you know, marry and have your sons and daughters. Find wives for your sons and give your daughters into marriage, so that they too may have sons and daughters. Increase in number. Increase in number there, do not decrease. So again, this is about settling. It's about, you know, feeling that this is home for you, right? And how do you do that? You just do what the inhabitants do, other citizens do, right? Now, here's the key, the verse 7. And they seek the peace and the prosperity of that city to which I have carried you into exile. Pray to the Lord for it, because if it is prosperous, you too will prosper. Yeah. So the prosperity that is being spoken to in verses 11 comes from you being a good citizen, settling down, seeking, being a contributor to the economy of that particular location where you are. And how do you do that? Working hard, being able to, you know, setting up a business, buying a home, settling down. I am greatly inspired by J.F. Kennedy. You know, his famous quote. He says, seek not what your country can do for you, but rather seek what you can do for your country. And that quote, during those years, it really inspired many Americans to do community service, to volunteer. And today we are all beneficiaries of that, right? So we want to be contributors to the economy of the country. Look at why this country is so blessed. It's because they give. They give their time, they give their money, they volunteer, they do all that. All right, that's what I would like to ask of all of us to do, you know, to seek the prosperity of the place where God has placed you, and by doing so, you also get. Yeah.
But then you've mentioned a few things, and I have some follow-up questions. Like, for example, you said if you have some property somewhere, it can help you when you are doing your your application for a mortgage. So suppose this property is not within the USA, it's maybe in Kenya or elsewhere. Is that helpful?
It is helpful. It's actually helpful. You know, and it's truly helpful when you can convince somebody that you actually stable. What the loan officer or the underwriter want to know is, how you know, how in assessment of their risk is how risky are you when they give you this mortgage? Are you likely to repay?
Okay.
If you are a person, that's why when you have so many debts versus your income, then they ask you to do FHA loan, because that FHA loan, the government covers or insures that loan. But if you're not a very risky person, then you get a conventional loan which has lower interest rate, and also you don't pay high PMI. So what I'm saying in essence here is, yes, disclose, because your loan officer is not an investigator. You know, I know some people might say, oh, if the government knows I have property in Kenya, they might ask for taxes. That is between you and IRS. It's in your loan officer here who is taking your application is not an investigator for IRS. So it's very, very important to really do those disclosures. Now I know you're talking about inspiration. Yes, I would like to, and a little bit more on inspiring people. This is a great country to be, and one of the things that I would like somebody viewing this to know is there is enough for all of us. It's one of the things that I have noted with people, immigrants coming here, is we come from countries where you have to step on somebody else in order to succeed. You have to compete, and you look at the other person as somebody who is coming to get what you are supposed to get. Or we just think in terms of, if that person loses, I gain. And really that's a very bad concept. And I want to take us back to the Bible again. Look at the children of Israel in the desert. God commanded them to just collect enough for the day. And many people don't understand why that. He wanted them to rely on Him as the supplier, as the God who meets their needs. And I wanted them to know that there is enough for everyone. You don't have to collect and hide and hide and hide. There is enough. There is enough resources for all of us. And therefore, what I would like to see with our immigrants and with the people coming here is really to see the power of unity, to see the power of coming together. We can come together and we can do more. And as a scientist myself, I think about horsepower. What one horse can do, if you put two together, it actually multiplies that power. And that's where the word horsepower, which we use in physics and in automobiles, that's how it came. That's where that term came from. So let's think about, what we can do as a group, not what I can do as an individual. All of us as an individual, we can do something. We can do something, but it's just limited. But when we can come together, that power multiplies. So I would like to see us coming together more. And there are several organizations, church, we have Kenya Christian Fellowship, which is a big organization here in the U.S. It's all over the country, and we have a branch right here in Lancaster, which brings people together to really do more.
As you mentioned, there are many people coming here, like the refugees from Congo, and then of course from Kenya. There are many nurses who are coming here with their families. So when is the right time to buy a house?
Good. Oh wow, that's a wonderful question. And I hear that question asked so many times. When is the right time to buy a house? The right time to buy a home is when you qualify for one, or when you qualify to buy. There are many people in this country, even born here, who cannot buy a house, even if they have the money. I mean, if you have the money, you can, but not everybody who has cash to buy a property here. But so the basic qualifications of buying a home is showing a work history of 2 years. Now, I have good news, because I was actually attending a training, a loan officer's training 2 weeks ago. What I'm giving you is real information. Now, even the nurses who are coming can actually use their work history in Kenya to buy a house in less than 2 years.
Okay, yeah, that's good news.
Initially, it was just 2 years working in the U.S. But now, if they can show that work history in Kenya, they can get a letter written that they worked in a certain hospital for this number of years. They can use that work history, if they have a stable job here, to actually qualify for a home. So, to qualify to buy a home. You know, if you wait too long, then you're losing on the equity that you would have gained. When you're renting, there is no benefit in equity. When you buy a home, you gain by living stable in your own home, but also that homes are always growing in value. Yeah. And so postponing that, because I hear right now the interest rates are a little high. They are 6%, 6.5%, 7%. The last 3 years, in this area specifically, equity has grown in double digits per year. That's not really normal, but in the last 3 years, that's what we have seen. We have seen equity growing in double digits. Land is not growing, okay? Population is growing, but land is not growing. So you can get guaranteed that the value of your home is going to continue to grow every year. The other thing that I want to mention on the same is, ask yourself, why is real estate one of the most controlled industry, right? Why do people who have money tend to invest more in real estate? It's because real estate is one way to guarantee that you're going to beat inflation. If you put your money in the bank today, 5 years from today, that $100 is not going to be valued at $100. It's going to buy less, yeah, right, than it's buying today. That's what we call inflation. But when you invest in real estate, that money continues to grow. I'll give you my own example. I spent $34,000 14 years ago. It's going to be 15 years here. I spent only $34.
34,000.
Yeah, $34,000, sorry, yes, to buy my home. That's closing costs and everything that I used. The rest of the money I borrowed, yeah, right? Today, my home, which was $219,000, is valued at more than $400,000.
Okay. Yeah.
So think about the growth of my $34,000, right? If I had put that $4,000 in the bank today, the interest that I would have gained is probably less than $10,000. Yeah. And that $10,000 would be still affected by inflation. Mm-hmm. So that's how you really need to think, is in terms of you owning a home is valuable more than you ever think. So good credit and, of course, work history. Very, very important. When you have those two things, then you approach a loan officer and they run your credit. And please don't think your FICO score is not credit. FICO score is what the loan officers use to get your credit, in order to evaluate your credit, in order to buy a home. Your FICO score is, it's a component of your credit, but it's not your credit. So don't look at your FICO score and think that that you can buy a home. No, you can still buy a home even with the lower FICO score, because they can use your pawn bill, they can use your asset to actually build alternative credit in order to buy a home. Make sure you see a loan officer and then give me a call. We sit down, give any of my 5 agents a call, sit down, and then evaluate whether you're ready to buy a home. Our consultation is free. You don't have to pay anything. And then we can tell you what to do. If your credit is bad, your loan officer is trained. They actually know what things you can do in the short term to improve that score. But if you sit there with a lower score and you're waiting for it to grow, maybe there is something so small that you need to do to actually improve that score in order to be able to buy a home.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then you've talked about people contacting you. I know many people, when they'll be watching, they'll see C21.
Yes.
So maybe tell us about C21.
So, yeah, Century 21 is a big company. It's actually with the oldest real estate company in the U.S. It's one of the oldest. But C21 is a franchise. So they are different franchises, and all these franchises are owned individually. So ours is Century 21 Home Advisors. Okay. That's the one that we have here. That's now where we are. So if you list a house with us, your house can be seen internationally. I have sold houses. I've helped buyers from Massachusetts, from other states, even without coming here, because they can see the houses within our brokerage. Our brokerage is not local; it's actually international. Yeah, okay, so that's how Century 21 operates. Every brokerage is individually or privately owned. Yeah. And then, so we might see Century 21 with another name, Century 21 Home Advisors, or Century 21 something else. But we are all in the same umbrella, but every brokerage is privately owned by.
Okay. So if somebody wants to talk to you, how can they be able to find you, whether it's email, whether it's Facebook, WhatsApp?
You can go to Century 21 Home Advisors. You should be able, in www.century21 Home Advisors, you should be able to find me there. You can also find me by my phone, 717-203-7262. I have an email, musa@c21homeadvisors.com. We are currently building our Facebook page, our team Facebook page, which will be out soon. And the best way to contact me, right now is going to the Century 21 Home Advisors homepage, and you should be able to find my name there, and then also through phone call.
So maybe I think you can give our viewers the final message as they prepare to own a home.
Yeah. So my final message to you is, if you're here in America, it doesn't matter whether you are in Pennsylvania or Maryland or any other state. I can help you there, because Century 21 is in all the states. I have helped people buy a home in New Jersey. I've helped people buy a home in Maryland, and any other state. You can contact me. I can find a Century 21 company there, and actually I get to monitor how you're being helped. Because again, we are all an umbrella company, so I won't be able to monitor how you're doing, how you're being helped there, and be able to own a piece of America. If you can be able to own a piece of America, please own it, because there is a lot of people here who cannot afford it, who cannot, because of all different problems. Maybe they declare bankruptcy at some point and they have to wait for 7 years, or maybe their situations are different that we cannot discuss here. But for you, if you're able to own one, settle down and own one, again, contact me at 717-203-7262. I forgot to mention, I'm actually taking my broker classes I have already completed 50% of my broker classes, and the next 2 years, I am going to be a broker, meaning that I can actually set up my own real estate, company or office like this, and be able to help you.
Okay.
But we'll cross that bridge when we get there.
Yeah.
But for now, in Lancaster, York, Harrisburg, Philadelphia, Berks County, we can really help you acquire a home very easily. Or if you're selling, another thing, if you're also, if you want to invest, okay, again, we are helping investors. I just completed my broker class on investment and broker rental management. So I can give you a little bit of advice on, rental management. I can't manage it because I'm not a broker to manage your property, but I can direct you on where you can get your property managed. We can help you evaluate an investment property and see whether it's going to give you income, and we can advise you accordingly. So it's not just because you want to buy a home to live at. We can also help you in investment. The other thing with the first-time buyers, again, that's the reason why it's very good to sit down. Yeah. Last month, one of my agents in York had a client, and this client sees a very nice home, but they want to buy it because it's just across from where they are renting. They want to buy it so that they can rent it out and then buy their primary home. Well, the problem with that is if you buy a rental property, it's not like buying a primary home. A rental property, you have to come up with 20% down payment. Okay. While for a primary home, the home you're going to live at, you can buy that with only 3% down. Okay. So they were going to deplete all their assets, and then it will take them another 5 to 10 years to actually make enough money to be able to put down payment on their home. So we were able to help them out. Okay, the education there comes very, very handy in educating people on what to do. If you don't explain that, somebody is going to get you under contract, and then you find things difficult. Yeah. But I was able to ask those questions, and they realized, they can get their primary home first. If you get your primary home first, guess what? Again, we advise you. Within 1 year, you can actually buy a second primary home. Yeah. And rent this one. Yeah. Because once you're buying a primary home, you always paying less down payment. Okay. It can be as high as low as 5%. But if you buy your secondary home, your rental home first, there's no way you have to part with 20%. Yeah. But you can again, these are all legal things. All right, I'm not teaching you anything illegal. You live in your primary home for 1 year. Yeah. You can now rent this home and buy another primary home. Yeah. You achieve the same goal than doing it the other way around. And that's where, again, education is very, very important. Okay. Yeah.
What should somebody look for when they want to buy a home?
So again, so when you talk about bricks, all right? So if you buy a solid brick home, like the ones in Kenya, that won't be extremely expensive. But what's the reason why we build with the bricks in Kenya versus here? One, climate, right? Our houses built on bricks, they won't be very, very difficult to heat. And so the reason why they build with these materials here is because of the heating, cooling systems, and insulation, right? So these homes, the external walls are actually two walls, and in between those two walls, they put insulation material in between. With the normal Kenyan stones, you can't do that. You can't do that. So there's a reason. The other thing is security. Here, security is not an issue, right? That's why you can see an old door is just window, right? It's just glass window. Some windows themselves, are all the way, just 2 feet from the ground, but all that's glass, because we don't have security problems here. You can't do that in Kenya. There you have to put metal grills because of security problems. So houses here, the major reason why they are built the way they are built is because of the heating and cooling, because of winter and summer months.
Okay, thank you so much for your time, and I really appreciate, because I know somebody will learn from this, and most likely your next client will tell you that I saw you on a video somewhere.
Thank you very much. Thank you for giving me the opportunity, and I really appreciate your time and your effort in making this happen. Thank you so much.
Okay.
All right.
Asante sana.
Buy a house. Thank you.
I have learned something today. The American dream means owning a piece of America. My name is Bonventure. Kindly like, share, and subscribe to this channel, because I'll be sharing with you information on how you can live the American dream. Okay, if you don't want to live the American dream, I'll be sharing with you information on how you can own a piece of America.